The veteran's warning. The grizzled Koran veteran's mandibles clicked in agitation as he nursed his drink. His 4 black eyes narrowed, reflecting the dim light of the bar's neon glow. "I suppose you want to know why we lost the war," he muttered. Across the table, a young Zalathite journalist leaned forward, her antenna twitching with interest. She had heard rumors about the infamous human-Koran conflict, but first-hand accounts were rare. Most veterans preferred to forget. "But surely the Koran Empire's military superiority?" she began. The veteran cut her off with a harsh, chittering laugh. "Military superiority? That's a joke." He exhaled through his spiracles, his eyes dark with haunted memories. "We never stood a chance against those psychotic primates." The journalist frowned. "But humans are primitive, weak. They had no empire, no fleet comparable to ours." The veteran tapped his claw against the metal table. "That's what we thought too." His mandibles clicked as he took another sip of his drink. "They don't fight wars like we do. They don't surrender. They don't retreat. They don't even fear death the way we do." The journalist shivered. "Then what do they fear?" The veteran's mandibles curled. "Nothing. And that's why we lost." First contact, the mistake. The Koran Empire had encountered many species before. Most were conquered within weeks. When they reached Sol 3, they expected the same outcome. Scouts reported humans were physically weak, barely armored, and lacked natural weapons. The Imperial fleet descended on Earth, believing it would be a quick occupation. What they didn't expect was how humans fought back. At first, Koran commanders assumed their resistance would break quickly, like every other species. But humans had a way of adapting. They turned their cities into fortresses, using terrain in ways the Koran had never seen. They used guerrilla tactics, striking from the shadows and vanishing before retaliation could come. They burned their own lands to starve out invaders, sacrificing entire regions just to bleed the Koran forces dry. "They didn't fight for land," the veteran growled. "They fought for my revenge." The journalist's antennae twitched nervously. "But surely their weapons were no match for yours." The veteran's laugh was bitter. "Their weapons? No, their minds were our undoing." Unbreakable. The Koran forces had destroyed human cities, expecting them to surrender. Instead, they watched in horror as humans rebuilt them overnight. They fought with whatever they could find: scrap metal, broken weapons, their own bodies if necessary. Even their injured soldiers kept fighting. Koran soldiers were trained to respect surrender, to accept retreat as part of strategy. Humans? They refused to retreat. Even when outnumbered, even when outgunned. "They had a saying," the veteran muttered, eyes dark. "No one gets left behind." The journalist's breath caught in her throat. "They fought? To the last man?" The veteran's mandibles clicked. "To the last child." Even civilian populations joined the war effort, building weapons, creating traps, and acting as decoys. The Koran realized too late. They weren't fighting an army. They were fighting an entire species, the turning point. The war should have ended in months. Instead, it dragged on for years. The more the Koran crushed them, the more violently humans fought back. "They learned our tactics," the veteran admitted. "Then they improved them." Human commanders began predicting Koran movements before they happened. They hacked our communications, turning our own technology against us. They found weaknesses we didn't know we had. And then they started changing. The journalist frowned. "Changing?" The veteran's eyes darkened. "We made them monsters. They abandoned traditional ethics. They built weapons that violated every law of war. Entire planets were sterilized to prevent the enemy from using them. Human scientists invented devices that caused biological horrors beyond imagination, the horror unleashed. Humans evolved under war. They thrived in chaos. We slaughtered their civilians. In response, they created weapons meant to break worlds. We took their soldiers as prisoners. They refused to be taken alive. Entire units blew themselves up just to take a few Quran with them. When we deployed biological weapons, they used their own dead as shields. The journalist gasped. That's madness. The veteran nodded grimly. To us, yes. To them, it was primitive. We were wrong. They were relentless. Their minds adapted to war faster than we could keep up. Their weapons became nightmares, their strategies unpredictable. The fall of the Empire. Then came the final blow. We thought we were the predators. We were wrong. Humans boarded our ships, tearing through elite soldiers like animals. They hunted us through the ruins of our own cities. Even in death, their war cries echoed through our nightmares. When the Quran Emperor finally surrendered, he expected mercy. The humans laughed. Mercy had died long ago. They dismantled our empire world by world, ensuring we would never rise again. The war ended, but humanity did not stop. Their technology advanced at a terrifying rate. The galaxy watched in horror as they expanded, their fleets growing stronger. One by one, empires bent the knee rather than risk extinction. The journalist's voice was barely a whisper. So that's why they fear humans? The veteran met her gaze. Fear? They worship them now. The few remaining Quran exist only because humans allow it. A final warning. The bar was silent. The journalist swallowed. And if another species threatens them? The veteran leaned forward, his voice a quiet growl. They will do what they did to us. His eyes glowed under the dim light. And this time they won't stop. The journalist looked around, realizing the entire bar was listening. In every shadow, eyes glowed. Former enemies who now lived in fear of humanity's wrath. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more story.